Okay. So my name is Daniel Jonathan Wellig. I'm part of the product team. I'm responsible for the Skype developer platform in the technical product marketing team. I can see a couple of my team members from the engineering team here, so if you have technical questions, you have the right setup here. And of course, we have Genesis and we have Clarity, two of our very important partners here on stage today. Next to me, as soon as we can switch to the next slide. Nothing works. That's actually this one here. It's always the last session when something strikes. So next to me is Dan. Dan is also from the engineering team, works mainly together with partners. So a lot of partners know him already, especially around Ignite and Build Conference and all preparation that was necessary to pull our interesting content together. So soon as I can switch between the slides, the agenda for today is basically, first of all, we would like to give you an overview how customer care looks like at Microsoft. So basically, how do we support customers? How do we support partners? What kind of technologies are we using on the top of Skype for Business? And how did we leverage the Skype developer platform inside Microsoft to customize some of the experiences and some of the contact and communication channels for our customers across the world? The second big part will be on Genesis. So Genesis will drive you through the integration that they did with Skype for Business in the Skype developer platform. And then we have also Clarity, and they will drive you as well for a couple of live demos where you can see how a contact center looks like on the top of Skype for Business. Okay, that was basically the agenda. Let's see if the clicker works. Then you have to stay here. Okay, we're talking about customer care, and I thought, it's the last session for today. You have seen a lot of content. Let's basically dive into two examples that I found actually in TV, in the advertising, where I think it's great. It's a great example for bad customer care. And let me show you what we understand as bad customer care or bad version of customer care and how we actually do it differently. May I? No. So let's hope that audio works, yeah? Okay. You might have seen this one, yeah?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm on it. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You're covered, Kevin.
Thanks, Melinda.
I have blah blah insurance, so person, come help.
Hey, Grandma. Now look who it is.
I see who it is.
6 callers ahead of us, Jimmy.
You're not helping.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. There to help you anytime, anywhere, anyway. That's getting to a better state.
Okay, that's a great example when you spend a lot of time in an IVR. Let me show you another one, which I think is great.
Like that. Hello. Oh, I'm sorry. We're only boarding rows 9 and above right now. You'll have to wait.
I'm in row 8.
Please step aside, sir.
It's just one row. Don't you think it's okay if I...
We'll call your row momentarily. Step aside, sir. Thank you for waiting. We'd like to continue boarding the aircraft now. We're now boarding all rows, please. All remaining rows. Hello. Enjoy your flight.
Okay. Good. So as you can see, customer care is a super important topic. And so basically, 4 years ago, when I joined the customer care team at Microsoft, we had a lot of cases where we thought about how can we support customers in a better way. I mean, if you want to support, right, you want to call someone, you want to get connected to the right person, you want to have the right level of information, you potentially want to share your screen or something like that, and you want to share your problem with the agent so that you get immediately support. And some companies have done a great job in customer care to make that happen with different tools through mobile devices or through the desktop or for browser, or even actually to route you in a very efficient way to an available agent that speaks your language or can identify you and so on. So I think what customers want, and what I have seen at Microsoft and across different customers and partners, is basically to have the right tools, get connected, get the right information, and get support in a short amount of time. And that's basically what we understand as great customer support. In the next couple of slides, I want to show you what we have done at Microsoft, and then basically how Skype can help, or Skype for Business can help, to connect customers in a better way, and to use also new channels, new communication channels, to basically connect the right information to the customer and help in the best way. Next slide, please. Oops. Okay. So as in every organization, most of customers that I have seen, or that we have seen, have different tools, different applications, different PBX systems. You have seen an example for IVR, right? You cannot imagine how complex an IVR can be, especially when you have a worldwide customer support service and you have different systems, different level of integration of legacy environments. So what we have seen at Microsoft in the last couple of years, to tell you a little bit of the story, is basically that also Microsoft had a ton of PBX systems. And our Microsoft IT service was basically very busy to simplify things, to integrate to newer versions, to minimize legacy environment that we had in customer care. However, as you can imagine, historically that stuff actually grew, and we had different tools, different legacy environments in the company. So as any of our customers and any of our partners. So with the success of our unified communications platform in the last couple of years, we went ahead and we thought, okay, can unified communications basically support to build a better customer experience, to build basically the communication channel in a better way, so that let customers communicate to Microsoft, to route them to the right endpoint, and to share the right level of information so that they are actually happier with our support. So a lot of our projects that we had in the last couple of years was basically to replace those kind of legacy environments, to move from PBXs into Link 2013, later on to Skype for Business, doing the upgrade. Integrating from instant messaging, audio, video, sometimes also conferencing or persistent chat, different modalities to make support easier. I will show a couple of examples on how we have done that. And some of our examples are references that you can see on the Microsoft website. And a lot of our partners build applications on the top of our platform to make that happen. And as I said before, 2 of our partners are actually here today. Okay. So there's a very important thing. When we think about customer care, we had around 3 years ago, we engaged a project with Gartner. And we said, how will the customer care space change in the next couple of years? So we talked to a lot of major customers. We made an assessment across the company, globally, by the way, because customer support is a sometimes different thing in Europe, Asia, or in the US. And there are different requirements that you basically have to consider. So what we learned in customer care was basically that over the time, requirements change. So if you, for example, go back in the 90s, you will see that customers basically call the contact center. They get to the IVR. They get actually routed to a specific place. They have to identify them sometimes again, right before they get connected to the right person. Today, with all our tools, the technology, the web, we have a different access to information. So basically what happens is that customers are very well informed about a problem before they get connected to customer care. So what we have learned, for example, in areas like Xbox, or if you go to Office and Windows, is inside Microsoft that customers that contacting us are very well informed about the problem. And they expect expert support, but without getting routed between 3 and 9 times. So what we're seeing in the future is social networking, the access to information, more intelligent tools, self-help, concierge services, and so on. All of those things need to take place to make customer care, or to bring customer care to the next level. A very important thing that we learned is that customers expect more and more with the time, and new generations accessing information differently. And it's the same for customer care. So for example, if you have a customer that is in a specific age range, right, they're using different tools. And you need to get sure in your contact center or in your customer care environment that you have those channels implemented. Not only phone, but perhaps also video. Some other verticals or vertical businesses have different requirements, that as well. So what we have learned when we, for example, talk to customers in the financial industry, they said, okay, video chat is something that we want to look into. Because to support customers or to offer services through video is an important thing. Some other customers said, okay, we want to reduce the phone calls that we have in a company, and we want to go to self-help and chat. We want to use translation, things like that. So we got a lot of requirements, and then we thought, how can we implement it on the top of the Skype developer platform? How can we use the developer platform to build those custom experiences also in customer care? Okay, So a couple of things. I talked about Microsoft. And this slide shows wonderfully how Microsoft looks like in the customer care space today. Let me tell you one thing. When I joined the customer care of Microsoft, I think I have seen one of the most complex customer care environments ever. You have from chat and voice integration, different PBX systems. You have so many different businesses on the Microsoft side that need a different level or different level of technology for their customer support. It's different, for example, to support someone that plays a game on the Xbox console or someone that has an issue with Office or Windows crashes, right? So what you can see here is that we're supporting 10 billion, or we have 10 billion interactions basically in the customer care space at Microsoft. And you can see here a couple of numbers. So 75 million phone calls per year, 30 million online sessions with customers. We are receiving 7.8 million emails for support-related questions or cases from customers and partners. So basically, we have many, many million interactions with customers and partners around the world, from consumer to enterprise customer. And there's also different SLA, of course, right, on how we basically need to react and also what kind of tools we need to have in place to make great support happen. Next to customers, we have a lot of partners that are part of the customer support environment. So let me tell you how that works. In some areas, you actually contact a partner. The partner will identify you, will actually get you routed to the customer support of Microsoft. And then afterwards, when you are identified and the problem is clear, then we route you to the right level of support. So you probably can imagine how challenging that is between different outsourced contact centers, but also partners that are part of the process to have the right communication and the right workflow in place to make great support happen. And we are global. I will show you in the next slide how global we are, but we have a ton of different contact centers around the globe. And these are only the Microsoft contact centers. There's also basically implementation with contact centers that we have through partners. We have some other organizations that doing the first line support and so on. And everything is basically integrated. So what you can see here in this slide is that we're having 13 contact centers in the US. We're having 20 in EMEA. We're having in Asia Pacific a lot of our customer care environments. So all of these regions having different requirements, a different stack on technology, different level of integration with legacy and unified communications. So basically, our strategy inside Microsoft that we developed is that we are rolling out for all of the contact centers capabilities that we're deploying on the top of the Skype developer platform and on the top of Skype for Business to reduce costs, but also to make support more efficient, to make the customer more happy, right? And this is actually the goal. Okay. So as I said before, our goal is great customer support. There's another goal. As a Microsoft, it's for us very important that we're leveraging our own technologies. So I stop here for a moment. Because think about, we have a lot of APIs and SDKs on the top of Skype for Business. And we're leveraging partner solutions as well. Because there are so many different requirements where it makes sense to go to a specific partner that integrates with us and actually serves one of our customer care environments. Another point, for example, is that we have different capabilities and features on Skype for Business. So if you want to use Skype for Business in customer care, what happens? We need to extend those features. And not everything gets developed in-house by Microsoft. Sometimes we work with partners that are also here in the room, together basically to make greater support on the top of our platform happening. Another thing is basically that we have a lot of federated partners. So a lot of capabilities that are completely new in customer care are basically oops, oh, don't switch, it's okay. One back, please. Thank you. The clicker works, it's okay, thank you. So a lot of our partners are already using Link 2013, or they're using Skype for Business. A lot of our contact centers actually moving to unified communications. So what does it mean? That means through federation, I can actually establish a great environment, a great network between different contact centers to actually route customer calls or to route a chat or to bring in some experts that are sitting in different locations, home agents, things like that. So this is one of the benefits that we have seen when we implemented and when we moved to Skype for Business in customer care. Okay, I promised too much. Okay, so before I go into some examples and you see even more interesting demos, one thing, we talked last week at the Build conference and also at Ignite this week a lot about the Skype developer platform. We talked about applications that are developed on Link 2013 and how they are supported in Skype for Business. We talked about new things like the Skype Web SDK that we're offering out to developers, partners, and customers to build web experience and customer experiences. And don't forget that you also can connect to also between Skype and Skype for Business. And there are a lot of scenarios that leveraging this great federation between those, between the consumer version and the business version of Skype. So all the communication capabilities that we have on Skype for Business are actually a part or a very, how can I say, a very unique advantage that you can use for the customer care environment. So chat is very common, right? And a lot of the customer care environments are moving from chat basically into different modalities or from phone and voice to chat and so on. So something that we immediately implemented are some very customized workflows that are chat-based. And you will see an example later on that I will show you live. Or, for example, sharing audio, video. So for so many different capabilities that you can see on the slide, a lot of our contact center environments use different tools, right? Sometimes competitive tools. So we had actually the option to use for all the different communication channels one single platform, which is actually our platform, and that's the great story. So on the top, right, as we're adding more features on Skype for Business and also moving from on-premise into the cloud, it actually gets even more interesting. Because just think about the future, and I'm not saying that it's there yet, because a lot of our environments are on-premise, APIs and SDKs are available on-premise. But think a little bit forward when we are in the cloud with all these developer opportunities. That will mean potentially that you have customer care environments and contact centers that you can move from on-premise totally in the cloud. And you can use a contact center just as a service, basically for your environment to get greater customer care implemented. Okay, so that was Office 365. The clicker is very interesting here. Okay, that's the right thing. Moving a little bit to different platforms. So customer care, you have seen before the IVR example where someone calls. In our research that we did within Microsoft, we recognized that different audiences engaging differently to customer care. And that's actually our observation. So it means basically a lot of customers calling in, and they're willing actually to spend time on the IVR. And there's a lot of research that our partners have done, that we have done on why that is happening. Basically different generations, different regions, in some areas you want to engage the real person, in some other areas it's totally fine to have a chat and to get quick support. Sometimes it's also on what kind of platforms we are supporting. So some of our competitors in the market came up with some options that you probably know, and you can click a button, you get connected from any kind of device to a contact center. And this is something that we can do with Skype and Skype for Business as well, because as we're reaching out to all of these different platforms, from mobile device, from tablet, from, let's say, clients that we have on iOS, Android, Windows Phone, and of course our own platforms, it's possible to build this experience in customer care from any kind of platform, plus, of course, also web and desktop. And on the top, as we're moving for customer care, if you think about Skype for Business and customer care, it's also interesting to think about third-party devices. We had some very interesting conversations with companies in the market where you probably have a TV at home. And those companies said, yeah, if we have Skype in our technology, maybe as part of our as app on the TV, then we can connect, for example, a customer directly to the customer care environment, to the contact center, just from home. Or you think about some other devices where you have, for example, the channel to the customer care environment directly through just a clicker button. So this is something that we want to do, and our SDKs and APIs will make it even more possible for different platforms to achieve this goal. Okay. So let me go to the first example. The first example is something that we used. Give me a moment here. 1 second. So let me show you some custom development that we did inside Microsoft before we go to our partner solutions. So one example is, it's wonderfully in the video before, right? You call the IVR, you get actually routed to a specific place. That was the same for Microsoft employees. So when I started around 10 years ago and I called from Austria, so you can hear I have some accent, I called from Austria the global support, and I had two choices. One was in German, or one for German and two for English. Sure, always pressed one for German as long as we had the level of support. And then I waited in the IVR. And then I got connected to an agent, right? And if I wanted to talk to an expert, I got routed again and again and again. So we measured the time that our employees are waiting in the IVR before they actually get supported for different technical problems, from I don't know, maybe Surface or Office or Windows or whatever. So it's a lot of time, and you can see some data here on the wall, on the screen. For example, how long our employees are waiting traditionally or per average in the IVR before they get connected. And we measured it in business days, how many business days get lost just to wait for the right information and actually for the right level of support. So what we did, we implemented some little customization. Yep, oh, it's fine. Need to be flexible here as the clicker doesn't work. Okay. So I will show you a custom development that we integrated based on UCMA and also on the client extension for Link 2013, and then we made the upgrade to Skype for Business, which basically saved us a lot of time. Why? Because from calling an IVR, we made it visual. We made an assistant, basically, where you have an extension in the Skype for Business client that you can use inside Microsoft, and if you need support, you can actually chat with a bot, then the client extends, and you can actually get routed to the right place. And you can actually also connect to a real agent if you need more help. And this is something that I can show you. 7 here. That I can show you here. So you can see here my Skype for Business client. That's actually my production machine. And you can see here also the extension. So as soon as I chat basically with a bot that you can see in the background. So this is the bot here. I actually have a chat window open, and in the chat window I can see a visual interface. And this visual interface provides me different options. So for example, if I have a problem with the hardware, or I have a problem with, let's say, conferencing today, or my network connection doesn't work out, right? So I can see those options embedded in the client. I can choose one of the options. I'll show you how that looks like. So I can see the next options that I, for example, have for collaboration and communication support inside Microsoft. Let's say I want to have support for any kind of link-related issues. Yes, I know we need to rebrand that. Then you see in the corner here, phone support or chat support. So I can actually choose at this time, do I want to chat with an agent that is available via presence, right? So we basically make agents available with the presence status. And if I choose between chat and phone, I get routed to the first available person. I do not have to spend time in the IVR, right, or traditionally in an IVR. So I get immediately connected to someone. Actually, in fact, I get a callback. So if I click here on chat, immediately I have a callback from an agent and I'm connected. That's great. And this is just possible with a little customization around the client. To be fair, that's not a product that we're selling. This is something that we achieved inside our organization. This is something that we're using as employees to get support from our Microsoft IT environment. Okay, let me switch back for a moment here. I think it's 5. So. Dan, please help me. Thank you. So basically, this is what I showed you, right? We have also the integration of different information that comes out of different systems. So let's say we have an outage today. You would see that in the client. I can also use the client outside of Microsoft. So let's say I'm working from home, I need support. I can connect to the right point of contact in the customer care environment. So there's also an agent desktop that we implemented with a little customization. We use the client extension for that. So you can see Frustomator on the right. You can see actually a chat between one of our employees and the agent. And you can see some basic data that we basically provide the agent. And they can be much more complex. In the next couple of examples, I will show you that. But just to show the other side as well, that you not only see the front side, basically, as I see the side that I see as employee, but also the agent side. OK. The next thing that we implemented for a different area of Microsoft, to give you a second example, is actually telesales. And telesales did something completely different. So they used for not support, but for revenue-based communication. This is actually what's happening when we're going to a revenue center inside Microsoft and providing them the right tools to contact customers, to sell something, or to provide some other services. So what they wanted to do is basically bring CRM data together with Skype for Business, but in a different aspect. They wanted to have a very customized desktop and bring in call controls out of Skype for Business to make that happen. And this is, in fact, something that we're also offering to customers. So if you work with our consulting service at Microsoft, that is actually possible to get. I think the batteries are over from this stuff. Thank you. So what you can see here is USD. So basically, unified service desk. And you can see on the right corner here call controls that are basically navigating if I want to make a call out of the application, or if I receive a call, I receive the customer information, for example, in the USD user interface. I have also different options that are coming out of CRM. So a couple of different tools get integrated basically in a unified desktop. So this is absolutely possible if you think about CRM data and you want to use Skype for Business, you want to have specific call controls. And this is something that 3,500 agents are using in China inside Microsoft to engage with customers, to offering marketing campaign or advertising campaign, put the data in our system, and basically help them and satisfy the customer. Okay. The last example before we're switching to Genesis and Clarity is MS Travel. I love MS Travel. You know what? I miss a lot of planes. So usually I take my machine out and I'm searching for an email, confirmation number, then I call American Express. I actually have to search for the number usually. And then I navigate myself through, and there's always great support, by the way. However, it takes me 20 minutes to engage to them, right? And to find the number, to find the right ID, and so on. So for MS Travel, what we did is we took our, actually in the time frame of Link 2013, our platform and customized a couple of things. So you have to understand, right? We are working here with an outsourced customer care environment, so between American Express and between Microsoft to make great customer support or employee support for traveling happening. So in the new world, what we did, we implemented Link 2013. We made the upgrade for Skype for Business. We worked with one of our partner solutions on the top. And we integrated two different channels. One channel that I can actually use my own Skype for Business client, and I can connect to the right person on the travel side to talk to the person and basically to get support. Or I can use the mobile phone, and this is something that we're implementing right now, to take the mobile client or a custom app that we have on the mobile device to request for support, get connected, get authenticated, and receive support. For example, if I need to book a hotel or I'm in the middle of the airport, I missed my plane, and I need to rebook my travel or something. The great thing is here for MS Travel that when we went from Avaya in a traditional contact center environment to Link 2013 and then later to Skype for Business, immediately, just with the pilot, we saved around $400,000 in the first 2 months. And that only by 3% of the traffic that we had inside the organization. Because the time, the cost for third-party systems, and also for maintaining those systems. Because we added just another workload on our Skype for Business or Link 2013 environment inside the company. It's something that you can think about here as well. Okay, thank you. So from a infrastructure perspective, it looks actually very simple. We have a global deployment at Microsoft. So we implemented basically another pool that is dedicated to this environment in a very specific environment at Microsoft with a different level of SLA to make support happening. And you can see here the agent. That's actually the most interesting thing. From a traditional contact center approach, where agents sit in a contact center, we said, okay, we're splitting those agents out to home agents, or they're sitting in a Microsoft office. So they're basically remote. And they're getting those calls or those requests through chat and voice and video, basically from the traveler, which is a Microsoft employee, and they're receiving those calls, taking those calls, and working from anywhere. So we could actually reduce the cost for the environment that we need to place all those agents into a room globally. And of course, we have more modalities, right? So from chat, audio, voice, basically everything that we have in our Skype for Business platform, we're actually using here in MS Travel. Okay, so those were 3 cases. And now I want to switch to an even more interesting case, Genesis, and then afterwards Clarity. They show you what they did with their technology on the top of the Skype developer platform and Skype for Business. Thank you. That's a clicker.
Can you guys hear me all right? Okay. All right. So I'm guessing that you guys are probably gearing yourselves and getting ready for the party, right? Last day, last session, almost. Okay. So, I think we have some cool stuff to show you in the next 25 minutes or so. So hang in there with us. How is the transition going? Can I try the clicker also, Guillaume, here? All right, so maybe it is up to you. Can we go to the previous slide? Sure, okay. Previous slide, yeah, okay. All right. So my name is Deepak Datta. I lead the sales of voice over IP products, and that includes our integration to Skype for Business at Genesys. With me today, we have Guillaume Callot, who's the global solution lead for inbound, and also Livio, who's our product manager. So I think where I'm going to start is, it's quite likely that some of you know a little bit about Genesys, but I'll take this opportunity to speak a bit more about the new Genesys. Next slide here, please, Guillaume. Sorry about the clicker here. So Genesys today is largest independently held software-only company, which is completely focused on customer service and contact center. We have about 100 million customer interactions every day in about 80 countries going through Genesys customer service platform. If I'll talk about the verticals and different market leaders, 10 out of the 10 largest automotive companies, about 4 out of 5 largest airlines, 7 out of 10 largest insurance companies, and I'll keep going through verticals. Basically, the largest of the companies in different verticals are relying customer service strategy on Genesys platform. But here is something for those who probably know a little bit about Genesys might not know. Genesys today, 20% of Genesys business today is actually happening through cloud. We have collectively about 14 years of experience now for cloud platform. Not only the large customers we are able to cater, we actually use the same software, package and price it correctly for 10 seats, 50 seats, 30 seats, and 100 seats contact center also now. So there is, as we help our customers to differentiate their business strategy from their competitions to provide good customer service strategy, even on the analyst side, at different segments that we deal with in different business segments, we have been recognized as market leaders, not only just the contact center software, contact center infrastructure, but also IVR, mobile customer service, workforce management, in different segments of contact centers, actually, consistently for a couple of years. So we have certified integration for Microsoft Lync 2010 and 2013. But our integration to this product, actually, the history of that is, a couple of years before that. We were integrated, our product was integrated with Office Communication Server, even with the live communication server. And now, of course, we are very excited to bring this next generation of solution for Skype for Business platform. Our current integration is completely UCMA native based. What that does is that all the modalities of Skype, of course, is now available through Genesys platform. So, the email, IM, chat, video, collaboration, all of those capabilities can then be integrated with Genesys platform and is available to Genesys customers. Next slide, please, Guillaume. Okay, so that is all good, but let me ask you this question. How many of you like to make that phone call to service agent? Anybody who likes to make that customer service phone call, who looks forward to it? Nobody? Nobody? So, isn't it weird that, 15, 20 years of great innovation that we have had, right? Multiple channels, smartphones, multiple modalities, and all that great stuff that we talk about. Still, as consumers, we feel a little frustrated when we reach out for service agent. We try to postpone that call, right? We will do it next day. We'll probably call next day. We try to push it out as much as possible. And the reason for that is that still there are lots of companies out there which provide disintegrated experience across the channels, where the customer service is still a very high effort and impersonal and mostly reactive service. There's no proactive customer service that is happening truly in large enterprise that we deal with, right? And not only it is a problem for consumers, actually, it is a problem for business as well. Because businesses see a lot of agent churn, not only customer churn, agent churn. Has any of you ever been a customer service agent, maybe in college? Anybody here? Oh, okay, there I see one. Did you like that experience? Well, that experience has been not good always. The reason is that the agents are usually not empowered with the right tools. Daniel talked about that a little bit, how Skype for Business and within Microsoft that got changed, right? So providing good customer service has generally been a very costly effort for businesses as well. How Genesys solves the problem, especially for Skype for Business, is what we're going to focus today. So I'll call Guillaume Callo to talk a little bit about that, and then I'll come back for the main thing, which is our cool demos, actually. So we're going to spend a lot of time on that as well.
Thank you, Deepak. So to introduce this concept of customer experience on customer conversation, I'm going to use a video that shows you an example in the financial sector.
John is looking for a loan to purchase a new car. He goes to the GBank website to check their loan offerings and proceeds to request a $50,000 loan. The system automatically offers John a chat session, which he accepts. This ensures that John receives a personalized experience. The GBank business rules dictate that requests above $20,000 must go through a loan specialist, and so a chat session is initiated between John and Claire. Claire is a skilled contact center agent who uses Genesys Workspace on her computer, which is embedded with Microsoft Skype for Business to receive and handle all types of interactions from GBank customers. Claire receives a notification that John is interested in a car loan. Claire first chats with John. She then has a video conference session with him escalated from the web page. Skype for Business makes it easy for GBank customers to switch from chat to video to communicate with its agents. John has further questions about his account and the loan offer. Claire determines that these can be addressed more effectively by John's banking contact at GBank, Dimitri. Claire checks Dimitri's availability using Workspace integrated with Skype for Business. She then initiates a consultation call with Dimitri. Being able to check Dimitri's presence and click to communicate brings agility to the internal GBank processes. Dimitri is John's banking contact at GBank. Dimitri receives an alert from the contact center asking for urgent assistance with one of his customers and accepts the call. Since John is looking for advice, Claire asks Dimitri if he can speak with him directly. Claire then transfers the call to Dimitri, who proceeds to discuss the loan terms directly with John.
So we have shortened it a little bit. There were more elements to that video. What have you seen in essence? What made this kind of customer experience successful? The first element is this capacity to provide a low effort on personalized experience across all channels. And it's not just about adding up the different channels, the voice, the chat, the email, the SMS, or whatever. It's about managing them as one single conversation, one single journey. The second element is, on this journey, is to be able to control and connect anybody in the enterprise, to embrace all the available resources, all the available knowledge in real time in order to resolve the customer problems spot on, at the moment when we need it. In many industries, that includes branch offices, back offices, knowledge workers, external organizations, and that's what a platform like Skype for Business can enable through presence on Federation typically. And the third success factor is the use of standard technologies. For too long, contact centers have suffered from the use of proprietary hardware-intensive platforms. By using software-based, cloud-based architectures, following the latest modern standards, we're able to future-proof the IT investments. So let's take a closer look at the omni-channel element. Next slide, please. When you look at all the channels that are required for a successful customer experience, what you realize is that you have lots of real-time channel and non-real-time channel that you need to embrace just as one way of engaging your customer with your brand. The experience must be consistent across all these channels, seamless, personalized, low effort. Next animation, please, sorry. On what Genesys can provide is the control not just of the link channels, or the Skype for Business channels, but also of all the other channels that sit beyond. It can be even a visit to the branch, it can be a business process, it can be a tweet. All these elements of the journey are managed in a multimodal way, meaning that they can be invoked in real time at the same moment. They can be orchestrated based on business rules, and we can follow them as part of the journey. That's going to be illustrated in the following demos. Next slide, please. So, what is the power of Skype for Business in the context of customer service? It's fundamentally the capacity to enrich the customer conversation with a ubiquitous and rich collaboration. Voice is not enough. By bringing together the connectivity of Skype, the connectivity through the web, business-to-business integration, the use of some specific devices like mobile phones, kiosks, consoles, gaming console, for example, this ubiquity allows to expand the new ways of engaging with your customers. So, following this introduction, I'd like now to give the floor to Livio, our product manager, who is going to dive deeper into the technology, and we will go quickly after to the demo.
All right, thank you very much, Guillaume. So if you want to go to the next slide. So what we have here is the kind of a picture of the channels and the modality that we support in integration with Skype for Business. So clearly, you can get into the contact center, into the platform from traditional ways, like the telephone network or voice over IP SIP network, and this goes through a gateway, and then it will end up into the Skype for Business mediation server. But there are new channels and modes that are enabled by Skype for Business, and this is, for instance, a direct interaction through a website, through the Skype Web SDK, or directly from your Skype client, anywhere on your PC or your mobile or tablet. And this goes through federation and into the Skype for Business. In the enterprise could be the front-end pool, right? Now, Genesys integrates with Skype for Business through the Skype developer platform. And the Genesys suite takes the call, routes it to the most suitable or available agent by location or by skill, whatever. And the agent is then able to seamlessly, through Skype for Business, to consult with others in the enterprise who only have Skype for Business instead of Genesys as well, exchanging presence and IM if necessary. Right? You see there the various media types and access type that we support with a little bit of timing. So next slide, please. This is a little bit more detailed architecture overview. So calls in this case, this is what you're going to see for the demo. Calls are coming in either from a website enabled with the Skype Web SDK, or which is basically a widget that includes the Skype for Business client in there, or through Skype itself for consumers, of course. This is a picture of my Skype client. So calls will get into the front-end server and then routed to through UCMA, which is part of the Skype Developers SDK, into the Genesys connector. The connector will then pass it to the framework that will route the call, give the exact routing, and then the call is passed over to the most available or most suitable agent. The agent may also have a web-based agent desktop client. You'll see it's called Genesys Workspace in this case, which also uses the Skype Web SDK to communicate. In addition to this, of course, in the back end of Genesys, we have different applications that are enabled in this case over a Skype for Business network, which are reporting, could be web engagement, outbound campaigns, and social engagement on Twitter or on Facebook and so on, and analytics. So I would go to the next slide. And this is very, very quickly the futures of this integration. As I said, the public availability, or maybe I didn't say it, but it's July this year. Initially, it will be premises-based, and we are starting with Link 2013 support, but very quickly thereafter we'll have Skype for Business support as well. There will be a integration from the Genesys cloud to hosted or private Skype for Business clouds as well. And the full cloud-to-cloud support with Microsoft is, at this point, forecasted by next year. This being said, I think that we can continue with the demo.
Sure, so we'll give the live demo a try. We have actually 2 or 3 demos for you guys to see how that goes. Network is always a bit of a challenge, as you know, with the live demo. So yeah, sure. So we are here. So this is a website. This website is driven by Genesys infrastructure. Behind the scene, though, that infrastructure is relying on Skype Web SDK. So customer goes to the website. A typical use case, they try to search a little bit, try to find some car loans, look for some information, and as it usually happens, that usually we all, probably 70 or 80% of the time, we would go to a website, try some stuff out, but then it results in a customer service interaction. So before Livio starts the customer service interaction, you see here that there are different modalities available. So there is, of course, chat, there is video call, there is callback, and more, all of these modalities, or at least some of them, are definitely powered by Skype for Business, and there are few more that will be supported going forward about collaboration and other things. So if you switch, Guillaume, to the agent screen here. So here you're seeing a thin client browser-based agent desktop that is, again, powered by Skype Web SDK. Underneath, there is a Link server and Skype servers behind the scene. Call control, of course, is provided by UCMA T-Server, or we will call actually Multimedia Connector for Skype for Business. Pretty long name, but all real, all cool. So now we're just going to switch back to the consumer screen, and Livio here will start a chat interaction first. Yep. All right. So if you come back to my screen here, Guillaume, in a second, so you will see that on the agent desktop, the chat interaction has routed through the Genesys engine. Right agent is picked up. In this case, the agent, we have just one agent logged in, but of course, there is, of course, a lot of skill-based routing algorithm in between, which Genesys is famous for. So you see that there is some context information about the customer also that is there, and I could start chatting with the person, but maybe I'll try to rush up here a little bit quickly. So what I'll tell Livio here, hey, Livio, why don't you start a video chat?
Sure, let's try that.
Okay, moment of truth. So sometimes it just, it just asks for enabling the camera and control. So on my side, it actually pops up for something. So usually when that happens, we have to try it one more time because there is some race condition. But maybe we can try one more time here, Livio. Okay. So the chat was, as you notice, the chat was already there. We tried to make another escalation call to video. And I think we will have a bidirectional video established now. Okay. All right. So usually the thing with the video is that because of the network, there are always a little bit of issues. But we were in our booth, of course, we were running this demo throughout the week. So let's try another one. How about a Skype call coming directly into the contact center?
Yes, that's right. So in addition to the web-based call, we also can try Skype call. And let's release this one. Yeah. And so this is GBank, obviously. And let's go with that.
So this is actually directly a Skype client. This is, going out to the network, coming back in. So it is actually one of the interesting use cases here. So you see on the agent desktop, Guillaume, if you will shift, there is already a screen pop happened. So the routing has happened. Inbound interaction did come in. Let's see if the two-way live video is established or not. But you see that interaction is already there. If we unmute our mic, even the voice call would be established as well. So if I actually show you a little bit more about the features of the agent desktop itself here, which would be a little bit more interesting for you. So do you see my screen here? Yeah, sure. So, okay. So if you notice here that there are multiple aspects at the contact center agent desktop, you have history available, you have contact information available, who's calling, what is that person doing, what different interaction they were working on, so that all that information is available with agent. We talked about enabling the agent and giving them the right tools so that they can provide the right customer service. You see the agent here has all the information of what this user was doing earlier. Not only that, you will see in a minute that you have the journey map also. So usually, there is one interaction, but there are different touch points. So agent has also the information about different journey that this customer has taken to go through one interaction. Agent also has information, how many different interactions are outstanding, what were different touch points this customer has gone through. Once this information is available, now Chrome browsing also, so they can browse through the same website at the same time. All of these functionality when agent has, before he talks to the customer for the first time saying, how may I help you, he knows so much more. And obviously that helps to provide that effortless customer service, straight away trying to solve the problem, not going through all of those prompts again. You also have knowledge management and some other key elements. I will not go through all of those elements because I think our focus today was not about Genesys' own solution, which of course is doing very well in the market, as you know. We wanted to focus on the Skype for Business integration, which again you saw a little bit privy to that, but feel free to reach out to us and we will provide more information. At the booth, of course, we were showing all of these demos. We have actually recording also of these demos.
Yes, and meanwhile, packets have been able to go all the way to California and back, and so we are in fact on a live Skype call.
Yes, so we do have a live video Skype call. Of course, we are standing next to each other, but it's an important milestone, as you can imagine, going through this network and coming back. So, all right. So with that, I'll hand over again to Guillaume here to just wrap up.
Yeah, to wrap up our presentation, I'd like to talk about some real deployments. So we've been working with Microsoft on Microsoft Link for many years already. We've been certified on Link 2010, 2013, and we have deployed this solution in various environments already. So just wanted to highlight one customer that I think is a very interesting case. So CGK is a Belgium headquartered company. It's an IT specialist, an IT integrator. They deliver services in 6 countries. And they have consultants in multiple locations that serve their customer as a service center. Several years ago, they were facing significant troubles in managing a disparate and complex legacy infrastructure. And quite naturally, as a Microsoft partner, they looked very carefully into the deployment of Link Voice. So the deployment has happened a few years ago. As a next step, they wanted to take advantage of this virtualized infrastructure, international infrastructure, to implement their customer service. So we have deployed with them a contact center infrastructure for about 200 seats, distributed in 4 locations, for voice, for email. And as you can imagine, the benefits were along the lines of cost savings, on the virtualization of the knowledge on the resources in all these places. So that concludes our presentation. Just the last slide for the wrap-up. So as we emphasized today during our demos and presentation, for the real driver we see on the market are really around omnichannel. That's what catches the attention of many customers. Don't forget the virtualization across the enterprise, this first call resolution that everybody is looking for. And last but not least, as you are all IT specialists, the quality of the IT infrastructure, the IT architecture that needs to fulfill all the standards. I know we are reaching the end of Ignite, so I would have loved to invite you to our booth to learn more about us. Take a picture. You can, if you text to 223223, or if you follow the URL of that QR code, you will be able to reach out to us, and we can set up a briefing to show you more. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, let's move to the next partner, John, and then from Clarity. John, I'll give you the microphone in a second.
Go. All right, so Dan and I have about 45 minutes of content to get through. Is everybody good? Staying late? We'll condense. We'll see what we can do. So I'm John Rauschenberger. I am the CTO and one of the founders at Clarity. We are a Chicago-based, so we are excited to hear that Ignite is coming back to Chicago next year. We will be back here next year talking about what we do, and which is we build software for Skype for Business and for Link that adds new features to the product. And that is our sole focus. The only thing we do is focus on how can we add more capabilities to the Skype and Link platforms through software. We do that regardless of how our customers want to buy Skype for Business or Link. We're very focused, and always have been from day one, on making sure that how you choose to get the product is really an implementation detail that you guys can decide. We'll make sure that we've done what we need to get our software delivered to you. Now, our focus here is to extend Link and Skype for Business natively with additional capabilities. So today we have 3 products in market. We have Clarity Connect, which is our flagship managed communication product that we'll be talking about today. We have a web gateway that extends the reach of that product to the browser. We'll show some demos of that as well. And then we have a second product called Clarity Converge, which enables hybrid audio conferencing. So for our customers who want to use the conferencing and the audio bridge capabilities that Skype for Business provides, but merge that with a carrier-provided PSTN bridge, our software can enable that. We're not going to talk about that one today. We're going to focus on the first two. Can you hit my slide, please? So when I talk about a managed communication product for Skype for Business, what we're really focused on is transforming what Skype, or extending, I should say, what Skype for Business does extraordinarily well, which is ad hoc communications. And what I mean by that is with the product, customers can install it, they can get it out to their users can start building up contact lists, see presence, and start having communications with their coworkers in a very ad hoc way. They can choose who they want to communicate with, how they want to communicate, and what they want to talk about. So Daniel, can you hit that 2 more times? And as you start to see lots of communications start to flow through that ad hoc channel, and that's great. But then we start to see some communications that flow through that an organization may want to have more structure around. Things like resetting a password, checking on benefits questions, those types of things, as well as customers starting to come in and vendors starting to come in with similar requests for things that ideally we want to get some structure around how those are handled. So give me 2 more builds there, Daniel. So oftentimes this is what we end up seeing customers have in place with their Skype for Business infrastructure. Well, what we want to do is help them make sense of those communications where they do want some structure, they do want some management. So what we introduce, again, Dan, give me a build here, and then give me 1 more. So one of the important concepts we want to do here is leave those ad hoc communications where they make sense completely alone. Let those continue flowing just as they would without the introduction of Clarity Connect. What we add in, though, please, are some management capabilities. So the ability to provide some structure that you can use optionally for the communications where it makes sense. The things you would expect: automated attendance, queuing, metrics, reporting, to make sure that that communication is flowing and you're servicing those needs in a way that aligns with your business. So when we let that continue building, well, those communications can optionally flow through the product, and we can add value in that way. So that's when we talk about managed communication, that's very narrowly what we're focused on enabling. Now, how do we build the software? There are some important concepts that we apply every time we are working on the software and adding new features and capabilities to it. And there's really 3 things that drive everything we do with our products. The first is we build them natively from day one, from ground up. So we are built natively on top of the APIs that Microsoft provides, the Skype for Web APIs, UCMA, and we make sure that all of the communications that we're handling stay native within the Link infrastructure. So the media never leaves Link. The signaling never leaves Link. Any add-on products you have already in place in your Skype for Business or Link environment will take full advantage of the communications that we're adding that management layer on top of. Second of all, we think it's incredibly important that software be beautiful, that it look good, that it be discoverable, that it look like the kind of experiences that customers are used to having when they go out on the web and they go to Google's websites or Apple's websites or some of the beautiful sites that Microsoft is providing now. We want our software to look familiar and look consistent with those experiences. And lastly, deployable. Great software isn't any benefit if you can't get it to your users. So one of the things we do with our software is we constrain ourselves to a zero footprint deployment for everything we do. We have no software that goes out onto a customer or an agent's machine. Everything we do is on the server side, and everything we do server side is architected and deployed just like every other Link or Skype for Business server role. So we want to make that software as easy as possible for you to get deployed in your environment. So with that, Dan, are we ready for demos?
We are so ready for demos.
I've got Dan Gardner here. Dan heads up the Clarity Connect development team. He will be clicking. I will be talking. We are going to be talking about selling puppy supplies. So Generico is one of our fictitious customers, and we're going to take a look today at how they're using these capabilities to manage communications with their customers. So we have a landing site for the page. We can drill into the Contact Us page and take a look at the options that they're giving their customers to communicate with them. Everything you see on this card here in terms of how they can communicate with their customers is facilitated through our product. So we have an email submission form. We have a couple of phone numbers. We have a native Skype click-to-call button. We have an email address. Customers can choose any of those communication means, and we're going to get those through to the right person at Generico to answer those questions about the puppy supplies. So let's take a look at how we do that. How do we set that up within the Clarity Connect product? Well, the first thing we're going to do is take a look at the call flow editor that we use to route and manage those communications. Now, this is a browser-based application that allows us to bring up a visual editor, usually bring up a visual editor for managing the call flows that are coming into the call center. After a refresh, it will now come up. So this is a totally browser-independent, HTML-only visual editor that looks like what you would probably expect, a flowchart type view of how those communications come through the product and get routed through to the appropriate person. A couple of nodes here I'll call out. Up on top, we're checking to see if we're operating in normal mode or if we're in an outage mode, and we can branch execution based on that. The next thing we do is actually through our native integration with Salesforce, we do a lookup to see if we can link this customer in any way to a Salesforce account. If we can, we're going to attach that to the call, and that data is going to flow all the way through to the agent, and we're going to capture that and retain it as that user traverses through the system. And then the last step here that we'll call out is we have what you would expect, a couple of menu prompts where the customer can express their need. They can go to sales, they can go to support, they've got some sub-menus, and ultimately they can get connected through to an agent. Now what we're going to do is go into that call flow first through a PSTN call. So we're going to place a live call over the internet to a demo server, and we're going to pipe audio to a room full of people. It's hard to believe anything could go wrong. So that call's coming in. Dan is logged in as an agent.
Regarding treats, please press 1. For medicine. Generico is currently closed. Please call back. Normal business hours.
So we've been rehearsing this demo all day prior to 5 p.m. And because of that, we're now hitting a lovely feature of our product where we're able to set hours of operation. And Dan's going to go quickly change those hours of operation on the fly to extend our Thursday work schedule. I blame the Genesis guys. We were supposed to be up here before 6. Now, before you call Dan, because we messed up, we didn't bring up the dashboard.
Oh, you're right.
So we built out our call flow. We've got some capabilities. You saw some queues up here that calls can get routed to. One of the capabilities we want to make sure we provide is the ability to monitor what's going on in real time in the call center. So again, in browser, through a very slow internet connection, we deliver a real-time monitoring tool we call our dashboard. And what this provides is a view of all the queues in the call center, all the statuses around those queues, and the metrics associated with how we're performing. You can see some are green, some are yellow. That's indicating how we're performing relative to the metrics that we care about. We can drill in and see the agents that are available. Here we see Dan is an agent who can take a call that comes in for support. We can see what he's done throughout the day. Now, Dan is red right now, and that's because his presence in the Skype for Business client indicates he's not available to take a call. So now, with the call center open, we've shown the dashboard, we've plugged in the headphone jack. Let's try calling in.
That audio's not working. Call back in. The headphone jack was having issues.
Thank you for contacting Generico, your one-stop shop for all your pet needs. For sales, press 1.
We're going to go into support, right?
For support regarding treats, please press 1.
We're going to get treat support. I don't know what could go wrong with
Generico is.
I think I used the wrong calendar.
You'd think the guy who builds the product would know how to fix a calendar problem, but you would be wrong.
6 p.m.
And that's going to cause a problem for everything, isn't it?
It may, yes.
So while Dan's taking a look at that, this is the admin website that we expose to our customers. And I mentioned earlier that we are very focused on making sure that everything that we need to operate the product is delivered out to end users in the browser. We're seeing a great example of that. We can change all of the config settings for everything we need to get the contact center working through the browser.
Wrong calendar.
No love.
No love.
All right, let's go back to the website. I promise that was working if we were within business hours, that call would have gone through. If we jump back over to the Generico website, though, a couple things I want to show. None of these calls will actually get connected, but that's not really let's go back to the main site, the main page on the website. Now, you notice in the lower left-hand corner, contact center's not open.
Nope.
We have a click to chat window that is fully integrated with the contact center. So when we try to start a web chat, it should tell us the contact center is closed, right?
It sure should.
And that's okay. So what we're actually going to see here is the call center and that call flow that we took a look at surfaced up in our web chat window.
It actually may have opened in the meantime.
Good. So Dan is getting in. So what we're doing here that's a little bit different and a little bit unique. I talked about our product being native for the Skype for Business platform. One of the things we're taking advantage of here is this chat window is actually built on top of the Unified Communications Web API. What that means to you guys is this is a native link chat coming in through your Edge server and coming directly into your link infrastructure, just like any other chat would. And that gives us some great benefits in terms of how we implement that in the product, how we route those calls and those chat requests through to the agent. So you can see on our dashboard now we have that chat queued up and ready to go to an agent. And when Dan changes his presence, he will get that chat session routed to him. Now, when this comes up, what we're going to see is the link client. So we're delivering that chat directly to the agent in the link client. And as Daniel showed in some of the earlier demos, we're taking advantage of that extension pane to load our agent console. And this is a browser-delivered application that gives the agent the tools that he or she needs to handle that call. So we see some information about the caller. We see this is an anonymous web chat caller, so we don't have a link to a Salesforce ID. But Dan can take a look at things like the conversation details, and we can see also any previous conversations that we've had with this user. And at this point, he's in a live chat session where he can be communicating back and forth with the customer. Now, you may have noticed when Dan went in through the web chat, he got a different set of prompts and a different experience than we saw in the call flow and than he got when he came in over the phone. If you close out of here and go back to Generico, our web gateway is actually context aware. So if we initiate a web chat session from a different page, the support page, for example, we're doing something a little different here. When Dan brings up that web chat window, he's going to get a different experience. And what this is going to do is provide an experience that looks just like what we got when we called in over the phone. 1 for sales, 2 for support, and then some sub-options there to get connected through with treat support, I think it was we selected last time. Yeah. And what we're actually doing here is directly via that Unified Communications Web API, starting an IM conversation with the call flow. Our call flows are multimodal as well, so you can build out a call flow that can work for an instant message conversation as well as voice. Now, did that not connect?
I think that's hitting a different queue.
That's okay. Bring up the link client. We'll start a conversation with it from there as well, or the Skype for Business client. So when I mentioned the Unified Communications Web API makes that web chat window look just like a Skype for Business conversation, we're going to show that here by calling that same endpoint directly from Skype. Now, this Skype for Business, this could be helpful if you think about an internal help desk scenario where you want to provide the ability for coworkers to communicate with the help desk, with a benefits consulting group, whatever it might be. Notice it's the exact same experience. So when Dan comes in from the Skype for Business client, he gets the exact same experience he did coming in from the web chat window. All of that is driven by that call flow. So if I want to go in and change the IM experience and change how that call gets routed, I would do that through that same visual call flow editor. So everything we've shown working here is actually available today in our shipping product. So this is all on top of capabilities we've built with Link 2013. We've tested and gone through a qualification process with Skype for Business. In July, we'll be releasing a new version of our product. And we want to show you a couple of things we'll be adding to it in that time frame. The first is a new tool for configuring and managing instances of the software. Now, a couple of unique things about this. So this is a native Azure website. We integrate authentication through Azure Active Directory with our customers. And through here, I can log in either as a partner or a customer. So if it's a resale partner, they'll see all of their customers. If it's a customer, they'll see all of their instances. And what we actually see here is the setup that Dan has been demoing from, the CC Demo 2014 instance of the software. We can see it was originally deployed in 3.1. It's now been upgraded to 3.2. And if Dan drills into that, we'll see all of the configuration settings that are driving that software. Now, to be clear, that software is running on an on-premise server, integrating with an on-premise instance of Skype for Business. We're moving, though, to this model where all of the configuration, all of the setup will be managed through an Azure-hosted website and pushed down to those on-prem instances of the software. So our customers will come in, they'll build out that configuration, they'll set up things like the endpoints that they want to manage. They can drill in and manage all of the settings in the software. And then when they run the installer on-prem, it pulls all those settings down from the cloud and applies them to the on-prem software. We'll be enhancing this to include access to all of the operational metrics and log file retrieval, providing our customers and partners a much more powerful tool to centrally manage all of the instances of the software that they've got deployed on their servers or on their customer servers. Now, we also want to take a look at what we're doing with the dashboard. We love that old dashboard. Dan and I have been looking at that thing for 6 years. It looks like Star Wars, you know, the black background. It's also built in Silverlight, which at this point, who doesn't love Silverlight? I mean, that was a bet that's paid off well.
Everybody?
Everybody, yeah. So we'd really like to move away from Silverlight. We'd like to change the look and feel of the dashboard a little bit. So this is what we'll be transitioning to in July with our new release. What we're looking at here is an HTML5 fully responsive layout dashboard, which provides on the surface at the top level there a global view of all the instances of the software, some very high-level metrics on how things are going today. But now, directly through the browser, Dan can drill into an individual queue. He can look at an individual agent's performance. He can look at active calls. He can take those calls or join them as a silent or whisper participant. And this is all accessible through the browser. We're logged in here as Michael Scott. If Michael wants to take a look at how he's doing today, what kind of activity is he performing, how are his metrics looking for the day, that's great. And it works really well if you're sitting in front of a computer. It also scales really well up to a very large wall display in a room. It also scales down very nicely, hopefully. It also scales down very nicely to mobile browsers. So this is the exact same website. When I mentioned it's responsive design, we get the exact same information available to us on the phone. We can even go in from the phone and join a call as a silent or whisper participant from the Skype for Business client on our phone.
And this is actually a phone, by the way.
That's what we thought. I thought we should stop there.
But wait, there's
A
more!
little further.
So,
switch. Yeah, go ahead.
So we have a great experience with the new dashboard. We're really excited what that's going to bring up. But then Microsoft told us that there's this new API that they're coming out with called the Skype Web API. And we said, oh, okay, now you're talking. So what we did is we took this user interface that's specifically designed around what users need to be able to do, how they need to monitor the call center, how they need to make sure their customers are getting their calls answered on a daily basis, and really make sure that we can translate that same experience to customers that are actually answering the calls. Now, there's a great experience with the same Skype client when you have a two-party call, when you have a conference call, and we're able to extend that to really give a good experience. But you still have the same call control buttons in the Skype client and in the extended buttons that we're adding in for the contact center functionality that allow you to do that advanced actions. So what we do is, John, if you could put a call right in, is we have a Skype client built directly into this website. And so if John places a call, now we have a call coming from the Skype consumer client on his desktop, which could be calling from any of the 300,000 users. And I think I may need to refresh. Yeah. That was the wrong number. Frederick B.
Oh, I'm in the wrong instance of the Skype client. There we go.
I'm just building the suspense right now. Now we have a call going to the right number. It's going to be routed through, and you can see that there is a toast coming up, just like you would have. I can accept that as the agent because I'm a good agent, and now you can see all the same information that was available on that client that we have right now, all the user's history, all the links to the CRM and ticketing data. It's all available immediately in that same interface. We can also have things like transfers, some of which are using the Skype web API, some of which are using Clarity Connect backend, displayed in a single set of controls so that it's easy for the agent to learn. We've got transfer functionality that allows us to seamlessly integrate transfers between both agents as well as queues, so Clarity Connect concepts as well as Skype for Business concepts can show up in that same window. I've got the sales queue so I can see, all right, there are agents online and available. Great, I'm going to send the caller there. If they aren't available, I'm not sending them there. I have all the phone numbers associated with all the contacts that come up. I've got a host of different transfer functionalities that I can send. And if by chance I can go ahead and take this call for the agent, what we can do is make a really personalized experience and have video going between the customer using the Skype consumer client and coming all the way over.
For the record, this isn't us. Skype crashed.
Skype consumer client crashed. But we have video going from the Skype consumer client all the way to the web API. The Skype actual desktop client is not installed at all. This could be a cyber cafe located in Bangkok, and it would still be working just as well. Maybe have a little latency, but you know what? Still a good experience. We're really excited to be able to reduce the limitation of having to have anything installed, and we're super excited to get that out to customers.
Shortest case study ever. I went to Marquette University. I graduated in 1992. They bought our product 6 months ago, and they're now running 90 agents. So they've got about 3,000 users deployed. For those of you not familiar with Marquette, it's located about 100 miles north of here in Milwaukee. 13,000 students, 3,000 employees. They deployed our product after having a bad experience with a competing product after they had rolled out Link 2013. And today they've moved over 90 agents, a variety of workloads, both internal and external, all coming in through their Link 2013 environment, getting routed through Clarity Connect through to their agents. They're extremely happy with it. I think, is there anyone from Marquette here? No, they said they were going to come, but it's late. And then lastly, in terms of how to get in touch with us, learn a little bit more about what we're doing, honestly, the easiest way is to search on Google or Bing. I checked this morning for Link Contact Center. You will find us fairly quickly on there. My email's up there, as is Dan's. We apologize for the closed contact center and the Skype crash. We did our best, and we came in 6 minutes late. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We have time for questions, so both partners are here. So if you have questions, please come in front. We also have a couple of T-shirts to provide you. Thank you very much for